ओम गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम्। ओम महागणपतये नमः। ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः, भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः, स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः, स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः, स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः, स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम नमस्ते गणपतये त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं तत्त्वमसि, त्वमेव केवलं कर्तासि, त्वमेव केवलं धर्तासि, त्वमेव केवलं हर्तासि, त्वमेव सर्वं खल्विदं ब्रह्मासि। त्वं साक्षादात्मासि नित्यं मृतं वच्मि सत्यं वच्मि अवत्वं माम् अवभक्तारम् अवश्रोतारम् अवदातारम् अवधातारम् अवानुचानमवशिष्यम् अवपश्चात्तात् अवपुरस्तात् अवोत्तरात्तात् अवदक्षिणात्तात् अवचोर्ध्वात्तात् अवाधरात्तात् सर्वतो मां पाहि पाहि समन्तात्। त्वं वाङ्मयस्त्वं चिन्मयः त्वमानन्दमयस्त्वं ब्रह्ममयः त्वं सच्चिदानन्दाद्वितीयोऽसि त्वं प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वं ज्ञानमयो विज्ञानमयोऽसि। सर्वं जगदिदं त्वत्तो जायते सर्वं जगदिदं त्वत्तस्तिष्ठति सर्वं जगदिदं त्वयि लयमेष्यति सर्वं जगदिदं त्वयि प्रत्येति। त्वं भूमिरापो नलो निलो नभः त्वं चत्वारि वाक्पदानि त्वं गुणत्रयातीतः त्वमवस्थात्रयातीतः त्वं देहत्रयातीतः त्वं कालत्रयातीतः त्वं मूलाधारस्थितोऽसि नित्यं त्वं शक्तित्रयात्मकः त्वां योगिनो ध्यायन्ति नित्यं। त्वं ब्रह्मा त्वं विष्णुस्त्वं रुद्रस्त्वं इन्द्रस्त्वं अग्निस्त्वं वायुस्त्वं सूर्यस्त्वं चन्द्रमास्त्वं ब्रह्म भूर्भुवस्वरोम् गणादिं पूर्वमुच्चार्य वर्णादीन् तदनन्तरम् अनुस्वारः परतरः अर्धेन्दुलसितं तारेण रुद्धं एतत्तवमनुस्वरूपं गकारः पूर्वरूपम् अकारो मध्यमरूपम् अनुस्वारश्च अन्त्यरूपं बिन्दुरुत्तररूपं नादः सन्धानं संहिता सन्धिः सैषा गणेशविद्या गणकऋषिः ऋचिर्गायत्री छन्दः गणपतिर्देवता। ओं गं गणपतये नमः। एकदन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्तिः प्रचोदयात्। एकदन्तं चतुर्हस्तं पाशमङ्कुशधारिणं रदं च वरदं हस्तैर्बिभ्राणं मूषकध्वजं रक्तं लम्बोदरं शूर्पकर्णकं रक्तवाससं रक्तगन्धानुलिप्ताङ्गं रक्तपुष्पैः सुपूजितं भक्तानुकम्बिनं देवं जगत्कारणमच्युतम् आविर्भूतं च सृष्ट्यादौ प्रकृतेः पुरुषात् परम् एवं ध्यायति यो नित्यं स योगी योगिनां वरः। नमो व्रातपतये नमो गणपतये नमः प्रमथपतये नमस्तेऽस्तु लम्बोदराय एकदन्ताय विघ्नविनाशिने शिवसुताय श्रीवरदमूर्तये नमो नमः। So we were looking at the Ganeshi Vidya, okay, or Ganesha Vidya, Saisha Ganesha Vidya. So initially this mantra was given Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, okay, and then the Ganesha Gayatri also we saw Ekadantaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Dantih Prachodayat. So Ekadantaya, the one who has one tooth, Vakratundaya, one who has a curved trunk. Okay. So may we know the one who has one tooth is the actually that is the physical meaning of that, which we saw even last time. But all these words we can also give a different meaning. A Vedantic meaning also can be given. I'll tell you about that. Okay. Then we were looking at this dhyana shloka here, because for any mantra japa you are supposed to first visualize the devata. So here, how do we visualize this Ganesha? So his rupa is given here, Ganesha rupa, like that they have given the section heading here. Ekadantam, one who has one danta, Chaturhastam, 4 hands. And in the 4 hands, what does he have? So in the starting from the left top, okay, Pasha, then Ankusha. So Pasha and Ankusha means, like, Pasha means the one who is binding you. Okay, it is a rope essentially. You are tied by that rope, means Ishvara is the one who is wielding that rope. That rope itself is Maya really. So in one sense, you are all deluded. Everybody is deluded because we are seeing the Maya Jagat and taking it for real. But Ishvara is the one who is wielding that rope of Maya. And Ankusha means again the one who is goading you, one who is really the Antaryami, one who is sitting in you and actually impelling you to do everything. So the Ankusha is a goad, correct? Even they control the elephant with that. And also Radhancha Varadam Haskaye, Vibranam, Mushakathajam. So the other 2 hands he is having Abhaya and Varada. So this is very common, correct? Like this, all devatas are having Abhaya, Varada mudra is there. That Ishvara is the one. If you know the Swarupa of Ishvara, that is Abhaya, because then there is no more any cause for fear itself is not there. There is no second thing to be afraid of. Only Ishvara alone is there. And Ishvara includes you also. So there is no second thing to be afraid of. Only if there is a second thing you can be afraid of. If there is no second thing, there is no Bhaya Karanam itself. Okay, that is the Abhayam you get from Jnanam. But even otherwise, if you are able to see Ishvara everywhere, everything as a manifestation of Ishvara, everything is part of one order. If you are able to accept it, then also you have a relative freedom from fear. There is nothing to be afraid of. And Varada, the one who gives whatever you desire. Again, Jnana only can give you whatever you want. The one who gains Jnanam attains all desires. Soshnute sarvan kaman saha, like that the Upanishad says, Taittiriya Upanishad. So the Ganesha Vidya leads you to the knowledge of Ganesha Swarupa itself, the nature of Ganesha as Param Brahma. And that Jnanam alone will also give you all the desires are as though fulfilled with that Jnana. But Bhagavan, even from a relative standpoint, to whom can we go? If we have a problem, where do we seek help? Because intelligent living is nothing but seeking help. All of us as individuals are limited. That means we do not have all the power, all the knowledge. So we do require help under different circumstances. So then intelligent living is what? Seeking help when you need help is intelligent living. Many people, due to their own ego also, they do not have the ability to ask for help. Or even if somebody comes and helps them, they do not accept the help also. So if somebody is not ready to accept your help, you cannot really help them. That is true. See, even Bhagavan could not help Duryodhana. But Arjuna asked for Bhagavan's help. So Bhagavan could be on the side of Arjuna and help him, guide him. Like that, seeking help when you need it itself is intelligent living. And where do we go and seek that help? Of course, worldly help also is available, but we have to also seek the help from Bhagavan. Bhagavan is manifest as everything. Bhagavan is Sarvajnaha, all-knowing, all-powerful. So we have to seek help from Bhagavan only, finally. So that is intelligent living. If you are able to seek help from Bhagavan. So here, this Bhagavan is presented as Ganesha, and Ganesha is having Mushaka Dhwajam. So Mushaka means mouse, right? We all know that Ganesha's vehicle or Vahana is mouse. Ganesha is traveling by sitting on the mouse. Again, for all these things, they give different meanings are also given. Let us start from even this Ekadanta. Ekadanta is there here also, correct? Ekadantam means Eka means they say is Maya, because this entire Srishti of many objects, this variegated world is born from one Maya. Okay, Maya then becomes Trigunas. Okay, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, and that further again from there, Panchabhutas, like that. This whole Srishti is there, but everything is from one Maya. And Danta here means not tooth, but the Mayavi is called Danta. One who controls this Maya, you can say, Mayinam. So Mayantu Prakritim Vidyat, Mayinam tu Maheshwaram. Like this Shvetashvara Upanishad says. So this Prakriti which has become this whole world is Maya. And the Mayinam, the one who is the Mayi. Okay, the magic and the magician. So the magician is the wielder of magic, correct? So here, Ishvara is Ekadantam, means the wielder of Maya. That is the meaning if you look at it from a Vedanta standpoint. Not just having one tooth. One tooth means physically also it is represented like that. But if you want to look for a deeper meaning, Ekadantam means the one who is wielding the Maya as a Mayavi. Mayinam, Mayika, like that you can call. Similarly, Vakratundaya also is there. So Vakratundaya Dhimahi means Vakra also. Vakratunda means curved trunk, we are saying, physically if you see. But Vakra means what here? Something which is distorted. Okay. And what is distortion? This world itself is a distortion really. Because Brahman alone is there. In reality, what is there is Brahman alone. But what we are seeing is the distorted world. Okay. So the Vakra here really means nothing but Maya Shabalam Brahma. Or this Jagat itself is Vakra. This world, what we are seeing, world of duality, is a distortion really. Okay. Because it is not what it really appears to be. It is like seeing a snake on rope. That is the Vakra. Vakratunda means the one who destroys this distortion and reveals what Brahman is to you. So like that, this Ekadanta, Vakratunda and all we are seeing, we can see Vedanta meaning also there. As Vedantin, as students of Vedanta, then this whole Ganesha Gayatri itself looks different to us. Ekadantaya vidmahe Vakratundaya dhimahi tanno danti prachodayat. So that Danti, again Danti here is the one builder of Maya. May that Brahman be the one who impels my intellect also means what? It is actually a, here it becomes again a Mahavakya. Because Tanno Danti Prachodayat really is the Mahavakya here, because the Brahman who is the Swarupa of Ganesha is also the one who is lighting up your Antakarana, your mind, your intellect. That means both are one and the same. There is an identity there. So as students of Vedanta, whenever you chant a Gayatri mantra like this, it is really a Mahavakya. It is something to be understood, to be, you have to contemplate on that. Okay? It is for something to be contemplated upon, not just repeated mechanically. But you can understand the meaning of that means then it's only a recollection of the same identity, the equation. So it can become Nididhyasana. Just instead of just a japa, it becomes Nididhyasana means what? Nididhyasana means you are recollecting whatever you have studied, whatever Vedanta Shravanam, whatever you have done, whatever you have listened to from the Guru, whatever you have listened to as the teaching of the Shastra, whatever the Shastra reveals to you, you have listened to that, and you have understood that, and then you are recollecting it, so that becomes your habitual identity. Otherwise, your identity is one of an individual. As long as you are identifying yourself as an individual, you are always in problem. Individuality itself is your problem, really. But individuality becomes problem if you think you are an individual. Otherwise, individuality is only for play. Okay, it is freedom. It is like playing a role in the drama. You can still play the role as a beggar, even though you are a billionaire. Correct? So like that. So that is something we have to understand. So here, all these words you can see, we can give different meaning. Similarly, Mushaka, also they give an interesting meaning for the mouse. See, Mush Dhatu in Sanskrita it comes in the meaning of steya, stealing. So I think even that mouse also gets the name Mushaka because it steals from you, correct? Whatever you cultivate, rice, grains, and it comes and steals all that. But Bhagavan is a stealer. Why? Because it seems you think you are the one who is the doer and enjoyer, correct? You are doing different things and enjoying and all that. But in reality, Bhagavan is Antaryami. So Mushaka, one meaning they give is Mushaka because Bhagavan is all pervading and is sitting in everybody's heart. As the heart here means Bhagavan as the Chaitanyam alone is there, who is lighting up each and every Antakarana, and also by the very presence of that Chaitanyam, everything is active as they are. Right? Everything functions properly by the mere presence of this Brahma Chaitanyam. That's why it is called Antaryami. It is the one which is sitting inside everyone, and then it is impelling everybody. So like this, Bhagavan is the one who is really the Karta Bhokta. So he is stealing whatever you think you are enjoying. Really, Bhagavan is sitting and enjoying there. So like that, he steals all your whatever you think is really yours. So Mushaka comes in the meaning of the one who steals, or finally he steals your heart also as a bhakta. Then further, I think these things also we saw the meaning briefly. Raktam Lambodaram. Raktam means one who is red in color. That is for purely Upasana. Lambodara also, again, you can have different meaning. Physically means Lambodara means one who has a big belly. But really Lambodara means what? Big belly signifies that he is the creator of everything. Bhagavan's belly only, everybody, the entire world is pregnant there. Okay, everything has come from Bhagavan's belly only. So that's why Lambodara, and he himself has not come from any other belly. That also we have to understand. Okay. So that is the Lambodara. Lambodara means the one who has given birth to this entire Srishti. Entire Srishti is sitting there potentially. That is why he has such a big belly. Shurpa Karnakam also very interesting meaning. Okay, physically Shurpa Karnaka means, Shurpa means that in Tamil we say Muram. In English I don't know what they say. I think it is called winnowing, some kind of a plate kind of a thing. Okay, they call it winnowing. Winnowing means when you just throw up the grains and then you separate out the stones and other dust and dirt and other thing and the grain. Normally nowadays I think we get all this cleaning is already done and we get everything packed. You just take and use. But even when we were children, we used to do that. Every day the rice we will take, we will put it in that muram and we will clean it up. Correct? So we will throw it up, rice will separate because they have different density, right? Other things will separate. Like that we used to separate out all the impurities from rice and then only we used to cook it. So that used to be a job. In fact, we used to help our mothers in that to clean the rice. So this that is called Shurpa in Samskrita. That is normally it has a shape like this. In fact, it is like an elephant ear. If you put that Shurpa like this here, it will be like an elephant ear. Correct? So Shurpa Karnakam means one whose ear is like that. Okay, like a Shurpa. But this also they now give another meaning. What is that? That Shurpa is the one which removes away all the dirt, correct? All the unwanted stones and other things from the grain which you really want. Similarly, Bhagavan, he enters through your ears, it seems. Means Shravanam, you listen to Bhagavan Swarupa. So Ganesha enters your heart through your ears and then clears away all your papa. All your papa here means with knowledge. You know that you are Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. You don't have any impurity, really. You are not Karta Bhokta. You don't have any Papa Punya. You are free from all that. So that's why here Ganesha is called Shurpa Karnakam. Like the Shurpa, he cleans away everything. Okay. And Rakta Vasasam, one who has again wears red clothes. So this red cloth, then even red Rakta Gandham Littangam, there is even a Rakta Chandana is there. Red sanders, like that there is a tree. Normal sandalwood tree also is there. There is a red kind of Rakta Chandanam it is called. If you take that tree trunk and just crush it with water, you can get a red paste. So that also you can put it on Ganesha. It is very auspicious. in this. So this is all again in Sri Vidya. Ganapati is looked in red color. Everything is red. Ganapati himself is red, having a red cloth. Again, even wearing all this red Rakta Chandana. So Rakta Gandhanu Liptangam, all his angas, organs, limbs. He has this Rakta Chandana is there. Okay. And Rakta Pushpaihi Supujitam, uh, one whose puja is done with red flowers again. So different types of hibiscus you can use for Ganapati, I think. Red hibiscus, maybe some other red flowers are also there. Normally we get red hibiscus here in our temple. So we always put one red flower on Ganapati. So like this is how we visualize Ganapati. And Bhaktanu Kampinan Devam. So one who is very compassionate towards his Bhakta. So Bhagavan, you have to only seek Bhagavan. Then he will take care of you. I told you already, seeking help. We can seek help. Worldly help also we have to seek, no doubt. But finally we have to seek help from Bhagavan only. Prayer is very important. Prayer is a karma, and through that we tap the grace of Bhagavan. And Bhagavan is ever compassionate. You seek Bhagavan's help. You do prayer. Prayer being karma, definitely you will have result for that. There is no doubt. So Ganesha here is compassionate towards his bhakta. And Ganesha is also Devam. Again, Deva, the Div Dhatu also has a meaning of Krida. So here they say Devam means really one who is playful Bhagavan. Because Ganesha is presented as a child also. Okay. So this entire city itself is his Krida, his play, his Leela. And that's why Jagat Karanam, one who is the cause of this entire universe, Achyutam. So one who is indeclinable, one who never changes, one whose Swarupa is always as it is. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. One whose Swarupa is this conscious being which never changes. And Avir Bhutancha Srishtiyado Prakritehe Purushat Param. Prakriti Purusha. Prakriti is Maya, Trigunatmika, the one which is of the nature of three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So that only has become this entire world. And Purusha is the Ishvara, the one who is the Maya being, or one who is the builder of this Prakriti or Maya. And before even this Ishvara and Maya are there, Ganapati is there, Avirbhutam. Ganapati is present. Srishti Adav. So, Prakritehe Purushat Param, Prakritehe Srishti Adav, Purushat Param, Ganapatihi, or Ganesha is Avirbhuta, Ganesha is already there. Okay, before the Srishti of this Maya Jagat, and also as the one who even transcends Ishvara, because Ishvara as the Jagat Karanam is only with reference to the Jagat, understand? When we look upon Brahman as Jagat Karanam, it is called Tatastha Lakshanam. Tatastha Lakshanam means what? It is a characteristic which is given so that you can understand Brahman. So, for example, let us say, I want to show you somebody's house, correct? Someone's house I want to show you. So, what do I say? See, wherever the crow is sitting, that is the house you have to go to, correct? Or I can even say the crow, wherever the crow was sitting, the crow is not even sitting there right now, but crow was sitting, we both saw that, then crow flew away. Then I am saying, where in whichever home or house the crow was sitting, that is the house we are going to. So, the qualification or the characteristic we have given of the crow sitting is useful to identify that house. But that is not something which is there permanently on the house, correct? It is not really a characteristic of that house. It is transitory, temporary, but it was good enough to know which house it is. Similarly, even Ishwaratvam, or the status of being the cause of this world, is only a learning device for us. Understand that. Because from the standpoint of Ishvara, from the standpoint of Brahman, there is no Srishti. Srishti itself is of a different order of reality, so it doesn't really count. There is no real Srishti. Then how can you say even Brahman is Jagat Karana? Only from the standpoint of the Jagat, Brahman is Jagat Karana, Purusha, Ishvara, all these things we can say. But from one's own standpoint, Brahman is Brahman. There is no Srishti. That's why Ganesha as Brahman transcends Ishvara, Jagat Karanatvam also. Ishvaratvam, Jagat Karanatvam and all are also incidental, transitory, only with reference to the world which itself is Mithya. So, Nirgunam Parabrahma, Ganesha is there as Param Brahma, Nirgunam Brahma, already Avirbhutam, Srishtiyata, even before the Srishti. So, Evam Dhyayati Yo Nityam, the one who is contemplating on Ganesha as Param Brahma, okay, that yogi, okay, Yaha Nityam Dhyayati Evam, in this manner, the one who is contemplating that yogi, Sayogi, Yoginam Paraha, he is the best among all the yogis because you can do Ganesha Upasana, Saguna Upasana also without understanding the meaning. For that also the benefits are there. Okay, it will purify your mind. Ganesha will, finally Ganesha also has to bless you to gain this knowledge. Okay. So you will get blessings of Ganesha, but the one who contemplates Ganesha as Param Brahma, as Nirgunam Brahma, and understands the very nature of Ganesha, that yogi is the best among all yogis. So like this, so this Ganesha Rupa is presented here, and also it is said that one who contemplates on Ganesha as Nirgunam Brahma is the best. And then now this Mala mantra is given here. Namo Vratapataye. So Vratapataye, the leader of the Vratas. Vrata means this, all our devatas like Brahma, etc. They all have their own armies. Okay, Deva Ganas are there. They are all called Vrata. And Ganapati is the leader of all these Vratas also. He is the leader of the army of the Devatas. And Namo Ganapataye, here Ganapati again, he is the leader of all human beings also. Manushyanam Ganapataye. So Gana itself means a group. Okay. And Pramathapataye also is something similar. Shiva has Pramatha Ganas. So Pramatha here means those who are like very close to Shiva, the exalted bhaktas of Shiva, you can say. And Ganapati is again the leader amongst all of them. Ganapati is the first everywhere. That's why we have to first do puja to Ganapati. And Namaste Astu. My salutations to you. Again, Lambodara, Ekadanta, Lambodharaya, Ekadantaya. But when you chant it together, you have to chant it as Lambodharaya, Ekadantaya, Namastestu Lambodharaya, Ekadantaya, Vighna Vinashine, one who is the destroyer of all Vighnas, all obstructions. Shiva Sutaya, one who is the son of Shiva. Shri Varadamurtaye Namo Namaha, the one who is again, whatever we desire, he gives it to us. Okay. He is in the form of the one who is granting all our boons. So this is the Mala mantra. This also you can chant. Namo Vratapataye, Namo Ganapataye, Namah Pramathapataye, Namaste Stulambodharaye, Kadantaya, Vighna Vinashine, Shivasutaya, Shri Varadamurtaye, Namo Namaha. So 3 different mantras are there here. There is a Om Gang Ganapataye Namaha also is there. Then Ganesha Gayatri Visa, Ekadantaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Dantif Prachodayat. And then this Mala mantra, which is bigger, correct? Namo Vratapataye, Namo Ganapataye, Namah Pramathapataye, Namaste Stulambodharaye, Ekadantaya Vighna Vinashine, Shivasutaya, Shri Varadamurtaye, Namo Namaha. In some readings, I think this Shri is not there. Just Varadamurtaye also is there. But my patha is that I have known it as Shri Varadamurtaye. So these 3 mantras are there. Normally, whenever we do japa, there is also a certain way we do it. Correct? We do sankalpa, and then we do a pranayama. If you can even do 10 pranayamas if you want. Before you, because by regulating your breath, you are also calming down your mind. So before we do japa, that is why we always do pranayama. Even in daily sandhya vanam, you are supposed to do 10 pranayama first. And then only we do the japa. Okay, and even before you do the japa, we are always supposed to do the nyasam. There is a Rishyadi nyasam is there. Means you first have to remember the Rishi, Chandas and the Devata. That is one nyasa. Then there is Anganyasa, Karanyasa, like that is there. So 6 things we, again, in your own body, you see the different devatas. Okay, that is the whole idea here in all this upasana. These are some kind of ahangraha upasana we say. Finally, essentially, you have to see the entire creation in your own body. Andam and Pindam are not really different. The macrocosm you have to see in the microcosm. That is the upasana. So for that, all these steps are very interesting. So there is a paddhati always. And when you do that also, we say different syllables and all that. So in Ganesha, I think here it is not explicitly given. They have given about certain things they have given, correct? Ganaka Rishihi. Rishyadi Nyasa is there here. Vichrit Gayatri Chandaha. Ganapati Devata is there. But normally after that also what we do is Gam, Gam, Geem, Gaim, Klaum and all we do. Okay, so this saying these syllables, we do Anganyasa also is there. Karanyasa. All this. Then Lamniti Puja also we do. Panchopachara Puja we do for the Devata. Lam Prithivyaatmane Namaha Bandham Kalpayami, like that. So, and then only you do the japa. And then again you do the Lamiti Puja, Punaf Puja you do. And then you have to Upasthanam also you have to do. You have to send back the Devata because you call the Devata. Okay, because you do an avahana. You do the dhyanam and avahanam of the Devata. You invite the Devata. You visualize the Devata, you invite the Devata, then only you do the japa. And then once your japa is over, again you do the puja, then you have to give a send off. So like this paddhati also you can learn. I can send you separately if you want. Okay, there is a certain paddhati, it is only you have to do all the japa. Then only it is supposed to be really efficacious. It's full phala, it's full result you will get. Okay. So the phalashruti, that's what. So finally we are coming to the phalashruti. If you do this Ganesha Vidya, or even if you study this Upanishad, what is the result? So Etad Shirsham Yodhite, this Athara Shirsha Upanishad, the one who studies what Sambrahma Bhuyaya Kalpate, he becomes qualified for Brahma Jnanam, or he becomes the Brahman itself. Okay. So that is the ultimate phala. This Upanishad gives you Brahma Jnanam. Ganesha, the Ganesha Rupa itself is nothing but a manifestation of Mahavakya only, that we have already discussed. So if you understand Ganesha Swarupa properly, you become Param Brahma. Become is only like again, and within quotes you have to understand that there is no real becoming. You are already Param Brahman only, so you know that fact. So, Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate Sasarvata Sukha Medhate. And Brahma, once you are Brahman means what then? Brahmananda only. Anandam Brahmano Vidwan. The one who knows Brahman is Ananda. You are the source of all happiness. You are complete, you are whole, you do not lack anything. You are Purnaha. That is the Ananda here. Purna Ananda. The Sukham here is not Vishaya Sukha. It is not a Sukha or pleasure born out of contact with some object. That will always go away. It's not going to last. This is Nityananda, Nitya Sukha. This is the Ananda which is born out of the knowledge that you are limitless. You do not lack anything. That's why Sarvataha in all ways. Okay, you have gained Ananda, Sukha Medhate. All around Sukha you get. This is the most exalted Ananda, happiness, satisfaction, whichever way you want, you can put it. But more importantly, you have crossed all sorrow. Atma with Shokam Tarati. There is no more sorrow, no guilt, nothing. You are not even a Karta Bhukta. So then where is the question of any sorrow or guilt? There is no hurt, there is no sorrow. Sasarva Vignair. Okay, na badhyate. This reading is slightly different. Okay. So now all the vignas. Okay, you are not bound by any obstructions anymore. Because once you have the knowledge, what is there to bind you? You are the limitless. There is nothing to obstruct. Nothing can obstruct the limitless. But even in Vyavahara, those who have the blessings, grace of Ganesha, they will not face any obstruction. Okay. So Sarva Vignair na badhyate. So you do not get bound by any vignas, any obstructions. Sa pancha mahapapa pramuchyate. Even if you have done any sarvebhyaha papakrit tamaha, like that Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita. Even if you are the worst papi, okay, sarvebhyaha papakrit tamaha means the papa. Everybody does some papa, you cannot avoid it. But amongst that also, you are the one who has done the worst papas. Okay, papakrit tamaha. Sarvam jnana plaveneva vrijinam santarishyati. Once you have this knowledge, everything is Aryataim dhamsi samithognihi basmasat kurute arjuna. Jnanagni sarva karmani bhasmasat kurte tata, like that Bhagavan says. So all the karma is burned by this fire of knowledge. Why? Because you are no more a karta. There is no karta means then where is there cannot be any karma, correct? Like that. You are freed from all papa. Panchamaha papa again is defined in different Manusmriti, and even interestingly, even in Chandogya Upanishad it is talked about. What is this Panchamaha papa? They say Swarnasteya, you steal gold or whatever wealth, particularly from a Brahmana, it is said. Bhashyakara says that from the Brahmana you steal something, which means it is a Mahapapa. Then what? Brahma Hatya, you kill Brahmaha. In the Chandogya Upanishad it comes as Brahmaha. So you kill a Brahmana. Because Brahmanas are supposed to not fight back. For them, ahimsa is important. And you go and kill somebody who is committed to ahimsa, non-violence. Killing a soldier in a battle is different. Both of them are soldiers, Kshatriya. They fight. There it is not a papa. Understand? But if you go and kill somebody who is committed to ahimsa, that is a mahapapa. Okay, Brahmahatya, Swarnasteya, these are all part of mahapapa. And then one more, couple of more are Surapana also is included in that. So you drink alcohol, and here also I think Bhashyakara there in the Chandogya Upanishad Bhashya says, being a Brahmana you drink alcohol, that is mahapapa. Okay. So for some others, and also there Sura is prohibited alcohol, they say, because in there is Soma Panam is there, correct? Soma Yajna and all that, that also is supposed to be in some cases intoxicating really. So they add in the commentary that prohibited intoxicating drinks you should not drink. Being a Brahmana particularly, that is again Mahapapa. Then Guru Talpa Gamanam also they say. So you cannot have a relationship with your Guru's Patni or whoever is in that position, correct? So all these things are all Mahapapa. Four, and then the fifth one is what? The one who is associated with such a person also is a Mahapapi, it says. So the Pancha Mahapapa, technically, in fact, in some places they say that you don't have any prayaschitta only for all these things. But here what they say, if you have this knowledge, of course, no papa can really touch you. That is what is this Panchamaha Papa. Being Jiva and having taken so many births, everybody would have done some papa or the other, I think. So every year we take Prayaschitta Snanam and all that also. In that also there is a big Sankalpa is that. In that we list all this papa and say that for this Apanodhanartham, for removing all this papa only, we are doing this Snanam. Like that we do. Every year there is a Prayaschitta Snanam also is that you can do, where they list all these papas. And this Ganesha Atharva Shirsha is so purifying. So Sayamadhiyano Divasakritam Papam Nashayati. So you read this in the evening, whatever papa you may have done during the day, it is gone. Okay, it is destroyed. It is neutralized. Because living the life only we cannot avoid papa. Every day you burn wood, some insects and all will be gone. You are walking, you don't know, you step on some ants. So even without your consciously hurting somebody, still you may hurt someone. Okay, all that is papa. So that's why everyday prayers are very important, because every day we are collecting some papa. So the prayers, nitya karma and all we are doing, right? Everyday prayers are very important, because in that only we are really utilizing whatever papa we have gathered. So if you chant this in the evening, whatever papa you have done in the morning is gone. Prataradhiyano ratri kritam papam nashayati. And every morning when you chant this, the whatever papa you have done at night also is gone, is destroyed. So therefore, what sayam pratah prayujano, okay, papo bhavati, it has to be apapo bhavati only is there. In the reading which I remember, sayam pratah prayujano papo bhavati, like that I remember. One papa is removed here, but apapaha bhavati, that is the idea. So from the papa, you get totally purified. You are freed from all papa. If you read this, the one who is doing adhyanam of Ganapati Atharva Shiksha, both in the morning and evening, so you get Antakarana Shuddhi, and finally you get Jnana. So Sarvatra Dhiyano Pavigno Bhavati. So the one who is doing this adhyayana all the time, what? He becomes apavignaha bhavati. So the one who does not have any vigna, okay, because all papa also is gone. There is no vigna. All the vignas we get because of all the papa. Papa only is fructifying as unpleasant experiences, different types of obstructions. Even though you put in effort, you are not getting the result as per your effort. That is all because of papa. So once the papa are all neutralized, there is nothing to stop you, and then it will give you whatever you want, all that you want. Dharmartha kama moksham cha vindati. In fact, moksham cha vindati is good enough. Along with moksha, you get everything else. Moksha is the only purushartha really. But there is a, normally it is said like this, Dharmartha kama moksham cha vindati. Even when we do sankalpa for puja, we say that Chaturvida phala purushartha siddhyartham, Dharmartha kama moksha Chaturvida phala purushartha siddhyartham idam, whatever pujam karishye. So this Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha are the four purusharthas, that which is being desired by everybody. Okay, everybody, Artha Kama, everybody desires, including animals. Okay, everybody wants pleasure, everybody wants security. Dharma is additionally a human pursuit in terms of papa and in terms of avoiding papa and gaining punya. So that here and hereafter you are taken care of. But really, moksha, freedom from all limitations, is the only real purushartha which encompasses all other things also. And the one who is adept at this Ganesha Atharva Shiksha gains all these things. And then you should not give it to the one who is not really a Shishya, it says. Idam Atharva Shirsham Ashishyaya na deyam. So Shishya means what? One who comes and asks, or one who is qualified to learn. To such a person only you have to give. Since all of you have voluntarily joined this class, we can assume that all of you are Shishyas, correct? In fact, that's why many times we say that even if somebody wants to join the class, it's better that you have to explicitly ask for it. Bhagavan Krishna did not teach Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, even though they were together. They went to so many places. They did so many escapades. They were cousins and good friends. But Krishna never taught anything to Arjuna. Finally, he says, Shishyasteham Shadima Tvam Prapannam. So I have surrendered to you. I am your Shishya, please teach me. Then only Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, even in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan initially only gives him some advice. In fact, he gives a verbal lashing to Arjuna initially. Correct? Anarya Dushtam Aswargyam Klaibyam Mas Magamav Partha Naitatvai Yugapadyate Shudram Hridaya Daurpalyam Tektvotrishta Parantapa. That's all he says. Give up this Klaibya. It is not in keeping with your stature. Okay, give up this weakness and get up and fight. That's all. He only gives advice initially. But only after Arjuna says, I am your Shishya, teach me, then he teaches. So, only to a Shishya you have to give all this knowledge. Or you can give, in fact. Any Upanishad, you cannot go to the road and preach, correct? It is not for preaching, it is for teaching. Only to students we can teach. Means a student should come with the right attitude. Unless you come with the attitude of a student, with an attitude to learn, you cannot teach somebody. So this has to be given only to a student. Okay. So Ashishyaya na deyam. Those who do not have Shraddha in the Shastra and the Guru, for such people you should not be teaching all these things. It's a waste anyway. And even if you do that, what? Yo yadi mohat tasyati sapapiyan bhavati. So even if due to some delusion somebody gives this, then he is a papi, it says. The Guru becomes a papi for having taught to somebody who is not really qualified. So very interesting. Sahasravartanadyam kamamadhite tam tamanena sadhaye. So if you desire something, okay, and you want to achieve that, what do you have to do? Chant this Ganesha Tarushirsa 1,000 times. Sahasra Avartanam. Yam yam kama madhite. Whatever kama. Okay, whatever kama you have, desires, all that you can fulfill by chanting this Ganesha Tarushirsa 1,000 times. Anena Ganapatima Vishinchati Savagmi Bhavati. So the one who does Abhisheka and chants this, that person becomes Vagmi. Okay. One who has the gift of speech. Here, one who can speak well, good speaker, public speaker maybe. Chaturthya Manashnan Japati. Okay, during Chaturthi, you do Upavasa. Upavasa means don't keep eating something else. In many states, they have separate dishes for Upavasa. They cook that and keep eating that also. I don't think that is really the point here. Anashnan means really you don't eat anything. Okay. During Chaturthi, and then you do japa of this Ganapati, then you become a Vidyavan. You gain knowledge, you become a knowledgeable person. And also one become famous, Sayashovan Bhavati. Nityatharvana Vakyam. This is the Vakya Atharvana. Brahmadya Varnam Vidya Nabidheti Kadachaneti. So you know this Brahman along with all the avaranas, okay, the covering. Means you know the Brahman, which is the basis for everything, which is behind all this covering. Nabibheti means you don't fear anything. That's what I told you. There is no bhaya karana anymore. So there is no fear. In fact, a few more is there. Okay, we'll finish it off next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी।
धन्यवाद गुरुजी।